This is a place called Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan that's been around for nearly a century. So that's where we're headed. Hopefully a nice South Indian Uta. It's a rather well-balanced plate. I've got a beetroot palya here. I've got a potato sambar. I've got a rasam, and this rasam is also made with the beetroot. There is a gobi sagu. I have some paisa, some masuru, some chutney, pickle, and a couple of puris. And I'm told after this, you get a plate of rice. Oh, sakkat hot is there, sakkat busy there. I love the manner in which that rasam has stained the rice, every grain of the rice, with its beetroot color. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nimde ಹೆಸರೇನು?
Anand sir.
Anand.
Chickpete business.
Okay. Handloom business. Okay, very good. Thank you. Well, we are in Chickpete and it's time for lunch. So I'm returning to a place that we'd been earlier, but we didn't do lunch there. We did the tiffin, and this is a place called Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan that's been around for nearly a century. So that's where we're headed. Hopefully a nice South Indian Uta. Let's go. I love the busyness of this place. It's both exhilarating and also a bit scary at times. You got to constantly keep watching, looking over your shoulder, see what's happening around. But we've made it safe and sound to Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan that was established in 1926. So you've got to watch our earlier episode on Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan. So if you want to catch a bit of the history, etc., do look it up. But as for now, we are here for the meal, plain and simple. Let's go. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಊಟನಲ್ಲಿ? ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಮೀಲ್ಸ್. ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಮೀಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
ಪೂರಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವೀಟು, ಸಾಂಬಾರ್, ರಸಮ್, ಹಪ್ಪಳ, ಪಿಕಲ್, ಕರ್ಡ್.
ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಪಲ್ಯ ಏನು ಪಲ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಇವತ್ತು?
ಬೀಟ್ರೂಟ್
ಪಲ್ಯ. Not my favorite vegetable, but we'll make do. So you must take a look at the last episode. We got the making of a very interesting dosa here. The sagu masala, which is very popular and which is made on an electric hanchu to this day. So, and we also got the making of the very special sambar. Sambar idea? Uta ottige? Ide alla? I think I will certainly have a cup of that sambar. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಮ್ದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ?
ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ಸರ್?
ಜಗದೀಶ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಜಗದೀಶ್.
ನೀವು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಟಿವಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೂ ನೋಡೋಂಗೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಯಿತು, ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯಿತು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ಏನು ಸರ್?
ಸರ್ ಮುಕುಂದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ.
ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮುಕುಂದಪ್ಪ. ಆಯ್ತಾ ಊಟ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಇನ್ನೇವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's always nice to meet people who love their food and also people who love people. And I think that's what makes the world a better place, right? I think it's probably still a little early in the afternoon, or perhaps the lunch crowd has already left. I'm not sure. But certainly isn't as packed as the last time when we came around. I love the setting of this place, sort of mood that takes you back to yesteryear. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಲಂಚಿಗೆ ಬರೀ ಥಾಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ?
ಟಿಫನ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಡ್ಲಿ ವಡ, ಖಾರ ಬಾತು, ಪೂರಿ ಇದೆ.
ಇಡ್ಲಿ ವಡ,
ಖಾರ ಬಾತು, ಪೂರಿ, ವಾಂಗಿಬಾತ್ ಇದೆ.
ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅದು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಥಾಲಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Thank you. Although I came here for lunch, I still remember the sambar from the last time around. I think it's probably one of the most impressionable sambars that I've tasted. So I thought before the South Indian meals, let's taste one of the idlis. The idli with some sambar. What I remember from the last time around was that this was a sambar that was quite flavorful, quite robust, with all the masala. In fact, we also did the making of this sambar in the last episode, so you must definitely take a look at it. I still remember from the last time around, the hitch of the jaggery, a little bit of the sourness that comes from the tomato, the coarse bite of the masala. That's a delicious sambar. There's a hint of tartness in that idli, which also I think works very well with the robust flavoring of that sambar. It acts as a nice counterpoint to the slight sweet edge of that sambar. Delicious. What I also like about this sambar is that there's a lovely chunk of tomato there that is unburdening on my palate. Not only its own juices, but also the spicing of that sambar, of all that masala in there. I must say I'm rather happy to meet this idli sambar, and it's a sort that sets the tone for your South Indian meal to follow. I can taste the urukadle in the chutney, a little bit of the grainy bite of the coconut. But the chutney here, in this case at least, plays a distant second fiddle to the flavors of the sambar. In a sambar sekboda. I've made quick work of that sambar. I barely have a piece of the idli remaining, but I want to taste a little more of the sambar. Thank you. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಆನಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ? ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆನಿಯನ್ ಇದೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆನಿಯನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ they also have the option of giving you the sambar without the onion. If you come here in the morning and don't want onions in your sambar, for whatever reason, you also have the option of that. But this sambar has been fortified with the onions. This is sort of sambar that you can drink katoris and katoris of. You've heard of a bonda soup? Well, this is an idli soup. Here at Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan in Balepete. Round one done. Time for the thali to arrive. The South Indian thali. Thali. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ
ಪ್ರೈಸ್
ಹಾಂ
110
110 rupees. Wonderful. It's a rather well balanced plate. I've got a beetroot palya here. I've got a potato sambar. I've got a rasam, and this rasam is also made with the beetroot. There is a gobi sagu. I have some paisa, some masuru, some chutney, pickle, and a couple of puris. And I'm told after this, you get a plate of rice. So it's a fixed meal, but I think what I see out here is enough to make for a sumptuous lunch, especially if you had a single idli and sambar just before that. Well, time to make some place on the plate. I don't think I've ever had a potato sambar before. You can definitely taste the hunse handu in that. Also a bit of the roasted flavors of the red chilies. Probably there's some byargi menzenkai that goes into this. And also the body of some coriander. What I want to do though is get to that poori and that beetroot palya. The beetroot is nice and sweet. There's a bit of a crunch that comes from the urad dal that goes into it, perhaps in the tempering. There's also a bit of the toastiness that I'm tasting from that oggarne with some curry leaf in there. It's a simple but delicious palya. To be honest, until recently I wouldn't even look at beetroot, leave alone eat it. But over a period of time, I've discovered its appeal in many ways, and especially in a poriyal or in a palya like this. I think when you're tasting beetroot, the flavors can be a little sweet but also a little earthy. So you need something else in the dish that lifts it up. And I think out here, it's lifted both in terms of textures with the urad dal that provides a nice, slightly soft, crunchy sort of a counterpoint to the softness of that beetroot, and also the robust flavoring of the ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆ. I can also taste a bit of the flavor of the coconut oil in that ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆ. ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೆ ನೀವು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸೊ ಈ ಸೇಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದೇ ಮೇ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ರೀಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್. ಐ ಲವ್ ದ ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪಲ್ಯ. ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದಾ ಪಲ್ಯ?
ಹಾಂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಐ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲವ್ ದಿ ಗ್ರೇನಿ ಫ್ಲೆಶಿ ಬೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. Thank you. And if you want to break your palate, you probably also have a bit of a chutney here. Generous hit of tamarind in that, along with the freshness of the coconut.
ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಚಟ್ನಿ.
So it's like ಹುಣಸೆಹಣ್ಣು ಇಲ್ಲ, raw mango.
ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ.
Bari mango. So he said it's not the tamarind. This is a raw mango chutney, and the sourness is a sort that functions as a lovely palate cleanser in between my transition from that beetroot palya to some more dunks of the poori in that potato sambar. Let's next taste. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿದೆ? ಗೋಬಿ ಇದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಿದೆ?
ಸುವರ್ಣಗೆಡ್ಡೆ.
ಕಾಲಿಫ್ಲವರ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾವ?
ಸುವರ್ಣಗೆಡ್ಡೆ.
So I was wrongly informed. This is actually the yam, the suvarna gadde. Very simple sort of preparation, nothing fancy. This is the flavor of the yam that you're tasting in that preparation. My favorite though is that palya, that beetroot palya. Super. So I'm told this rasam is made with the water that comes from the beetroot when they cook the beetroot. So none of that nourishing liquid of that beetroot goes to waste. So they make a nice beetroot rasam with it. I can definitely taste a bit of the heat that comes perhaps from some pepper that goes into this. All the slivers of green chili that help amp up the spicing of that beetroot rasam. So when I thought beetroot rasam, I was still expecting to find a bit of that slightly sweet sort of a note in that rasam, but none of that. What you're tasting instead is the slightly spicy, slightly sour, peppery punch that you will expect in a good Bangalorean South Canara tili saru. I think this is also the sort that will go well with some anna. Sandige. ಏನು ಸಂಡಿಗೆ ಇದು? The anna is nice and hot. Taste it with some of the potatoes first. The potato sambar. I prefer the potato sambar in combination with the anna. Somehow the flavor of that sambar spices and that poori wasn't really going quite well together, as opposed to the poori and that palya, or the poori and the suvarna gadde. But the flavors of the sambar are quite at home with the anna. Now for some anna with a rasam. The rasam has lost some of its vigor because it's not so hot anymore. I have requested them for some bisi rasam. Quite warm as it slithers down your throat. Thank you. We got some bisi rasam. Oh, I can't even hold it. It's as hot as that. ಸಖತ್ ಹಾಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಸಖತ್ ಬಿಸಿ ಇದೆ. I love the manner in which that rasam has stained the rice, every grain of the rice, with its beetroot color. I think draw some more of that beetroot palya into that scoop of rice, united with the beetroot juices in that tili saru. What's really nice about this meal is that it's very light. I've tasted 2 pooris, I've tasted almost everything that I have on my thali here. But it's a sort that's rather light in the manner that it sits on your palate, also on your tummy. Go for some of that uppinakai. Some uppinakai with the anna rasam. Draw some chutney too in this bite. You know, a South Indian meal like this, of course you have the sambar, you have some rasam and all of that. But what really plays an important role are those 1 or 2 condiments that you find. Whether it's that raw mango chutney or that limbe hannu, the uppinakai, as you reach for a bit of either of them, it basically changes the flavors that you're encountering on your palate. And I think that's what makes a thali meal very interesting. Also the fact that you can layer the texture of crunch with this rice happada, the rice papad. I thought I'll finish only half a cup of this rice, but I want to savor some more of the medley of flavors and textures on my South Indian thali here. I want that rice to literally drown in that rasam. Get some of that chutney in there. Some palya. You want to literally fill out the rice because that's the only way you will get that rasam. Some of that uppinakai, you want to get all that pulp with its hot and sour spicing. And that very special raw mango chutney. Very interesting. 2 sour components, the chutney and the pickle, the lemon pickle. But the sourness of that raw mango is a little fruitier as opposed to that sourness in the pickle that has had the opportunity to mellow, round off its acids as it has aged for a while. People enjoying their meals around me. I can hear call outs for the uta, that is a South Indian meal. Namaskara. Some of the happada. As I wrap things up here with my South Indian thali. This to me, that raw mango chutney and that beetroot palya that I finished were the 2 finds on this thali. And the only way to finish your thali with that remainder of the tili saru is to quite greedily and very unabashedly at that slurp it all up. That's satisfaction. But we're not done yet because we still have some of that mosuru and that paisa to finish. Prepare my own version of the tair sadam with some of that curd. Get the remainder of my uppinakai and perhaps a bit of that mango chutney to settle things in my tummy. If you are from around this part of the country, you need to close your meal, especially a traditional South Indian meal, with some curd rice, some mosuru anna. Now we are almost complete, except for that paisa. I find these tiny measures of dessert on a fixed meal quite appealing. So it's got that sweet ending that you want at the end of a good meal, but in a quantity or portion that doesn't leave you feeling burdened or guilty. You know, many a times you eat a meal and then you have dessert, and sometimes what goes into that dessert, especially the calorific value of that dessert, is probably a few multiples more than what you had in your meal, and that certainly leaves you feeling a little bad and guilty at the end of it. But when you have a dessert like this that is contained in this small katori, a very simple vermicelli paisa with some halu, some godambi, cashew nuts and raisins, a little bit of sweetening, that's all you need. I can also taste a bit of the cardamom, elakki, that goes into that paisa. Lovely. I love the lingering, delicate notes of cardamom that's wafting through my mouth. So when I was here the last time around, I came at that time when people were finishing their lunch. So I looked greedily at some people relishing their South Indian thali. So I had made a note that someday I'm going to return. And today it so happened that we were in the area and a lunch spot opened quite by chance. And that's how we walked into Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan. Well, for me it was a happy accident today. But for you, you should definitely plan a trip to Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan sometime. If you feel like eating a traditional South Canara style, simple South Indian thali. The flavors are light, the dishes are prepared with care, and best of all, it's served to you in an environment, in an ambience that takes you back to good old yesteryear. So if you like your Uta, the South Indian Uta, definitely find your way to Udupi Sri Krishna Bhavan here in Balepete, Bengaluru. I hope you've enjoyed this short and satisfying episode of Gourmet on the Road. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating. Super ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಹಾಂ ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಪೇಟೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅತಿ ಬೆಲೆಯಿಂದ nice to see people who come here for that good old fashioned taste and goodness. And the thali is priced only at rupees 110. So I think for 110 rupees you get a delicious tasty meal. Thank you, huh? So this is basically a very traditional grape juice. So what they do is they typically boil the grape with some sugar, etc. And then they strain it. They strain the pulp and then they add a few things to the pulp. ಇದು ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಶುಗರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ
ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಭಾಳ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್
ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿ
ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬ್ಲೂವಾ
ಮಿಕ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗಟ್ಲು ಥರ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಬೇಯಿಸಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
So what he says is that when you boil this grape and then extract a juice of it, it doesn't really leave any irritation on your throat. So I think what happens is the tannins in the grape lose the vigor. So they extract the pulpy juice of the grape and then they mix it with a few things. There's definitely some salt that's gone in to balance a bit of the acidity of the grape and perhaps a few things more. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!